Alright, welcome back to another day of math. Today we are going to practice estimating lengths in centimeters and inches. And then we're going to kind of discuss what is a reasonable estimate. Alright, let's look at the top of your page. We are on page 178 in your instruction booklet. It says to use different units to help you estimate length. Use the stamp to answer problems 2 and 3. So we have a picture of a stamp here on this upper page. And we're going to use the width of our little finger to help us estimate the length of the stamp. And if you remember from yesterday, we said your little finger here is about 1 centimeter. So I'm going to use my little finger, and I'm also going to mark it off as I go. So here's my first one. I'm going to put a little line here so I know where to move it. Okay, right on the line I made, I'm going to make another line here. And then, that's about it. So let's see how many finger widths this is. I have 1, 2, 3. So this stamp is about 3 centimeters long. Now you try it with your finger, and it's okay if you get 3 or 4, because I realize my finger might be a little bit bigger than yours. Then use a centimeter, so it could be 3 or 4 here. But I do want you to practice on your own doing that. Use a centimeter ruler to measure the length of the stamp. What is the actual length? So you're going to get out your ruler, and we're going to actually measure the length of the stamp. So when I get out my ruler, I want to make sure I'm on the centimeter side and not the inches side. Once again, as we learned in previous lessons, I'm going to line it up here with the edge of the stamp at 0. And when I measure just like this, it is about 3 centimeters long with my ruler. So I'm going to write a 3 here. Okay, now let's look at problem 4. Use the hair clip and ribbon to answer problems 4 and 5. The ribbon is about blank inches long. What do you notice about the estimate in problem 4 here? Okay, so an estimate is not the exact length. Great, and in order to get the exact length, we would actually need to use a ruler. So the first thing we're going to do in number 4 is to estimate. We have the word about. So that means when you see that word about, we are doing an estimate and not an actual length. So my hair bow is 2 inches, and I'm going to try to find a way to help estimate this. So it looks like the 2 inches are from, oh looky there, from my fingertip to my knuckle. So I have, this is 1 inch. I'm going to place, I don't know if you can see it very well, I'm going to place my knuckle on top of my line and place it there. And, well, okay, so, and it says this is 2 inches, so I'm not going to count 1, 2, 3. That means that this space is 2 inches and this space is 2 inches. And then I have a little bit of space here left over, which if I estimate could be maybe 1 inch, maybe a little less than 1 inch. So I'm going to count my inches. I have 2, 4. So it is about 4 inches long, and as you can see, a little bit left over. But since I'm giving an estimate, I don't have to have the exact measurement. Now in number 5, they ask you a different question. They want you to use the inch ruler to measure the length of the ribbon. And now they want to know the actual length, what you get when you use the ruler. So once again, I'm going to pull out my ruler. Make sure that I'm on the inch side of my ruler. And once again, I'm going to line my 0 up with the edge. I'm going to use this corner edge of the ribbon. I'm going to line it up with the 0. And here, I don't know if you can see, but it's almost 5 inches according to my ruler. So here's the 4 inches that I estimated. And it's going all the way over here to almost 5 inches. So the exact measurement, and we're going to go to the nearest inch. That means I'm going to write down the number that it is closest to. I'm looking at my ruler. The ribbon ends closest to the 5. So I'm going to write that it is 5 inches long. Okay, so let's look at what we estimated and what we actually measured. As you can see, they're close in numbers. They don't have to be exactly the same number because in number 4, we gave our estimate of what we believed based on our mathematical thinking. And in number 5, we used a ruler to get the exact measurement. Who can explain why you should tell what units you are using when you estimate? Why is it important to say, well, I'm making an estimate based in inches? Right, because if someone else looks at your work, they won't know if you use centimeters, inches, and they'll be like, well, that's not 4 centimeters. Of course not. So you need to let them know that you used inches in your estimate so others will know that's a reasonable estimate. Alrighty. So let's look at problems 6 through 8. Oh, let me move down some. Okay. We're going to solve the problems together here. Normally you'd be working in your groups, at your tables, helping each other with this problem. And number 6, how did you estimate the length of a stamp? Okay, so what did we do when we estimated the length of the stamp? If you remember, on the stamp we used our pinky finger. Okay, so basically I lined up my little finger. On the stamp. Three times. Now when you do it, I want you to write how many times you had to line up your little finger with the stamp. And keep in mind, your little finger is a little bit smaller than mine, so you may get a different number. But your number should be close to mine and not too far over. Okay, on number 7, you're to explain how did you estimate the length of a ribbon? Okay, so I used my finger. To help measure or to help estimate the ribbon. It took a little more than 2 finger lengths And by finger means I mean from my knuckle to the tip is what I used. Now you can just kind of do an estimate lining up, or you can use your finger as well to help you do an estimate. On number 8, how does your estimate compare to the actual length of the ribbon? Okay, well I added 2 plus 2, which gave me 4. But the ribbon measurement was closer to 5 inches. Can you think of some other ways to estimate the length of the ribbon? Okay, you could eyeball it. You can do as I did and use your finger. Maybe you can find another benchmark item to help you maneuver, like maybe an eraser or anything you have around the house. Maybe you could use a quarter and line it up with the ribbon to see how many quarters it was. So, some people might say an estimate is a guess with a method behind it. What do you think that means, a guess with a method behind it? Okay, so we should really think and put some thought into when we're going to estimate the length of an object, such as comparing it to something we already know, like your little finger, a quarter, or from my knuckle to my tip as well, to help you give a educated guess as to how the length of an object. Okay, now, number 9, when would you estimate a length instead of measuring the exact length? Okay, we kind of talked about this yesterday. So I might want to estimate if I don't have a ruler or if I don't need to know the exact length. Okay, so when I don't have a ruler, or I don't need to know the exact length. Now those are all good times when we can estimate the length instead of giving the exact length. Alright, what you're going to do is you're going to estimate lengths using different units. So here you're going to estimate, and you're going to have to be a little creative. Maybe instead of the teacher's desk, since we're not at school, you can estimate the length of your kitchen table, maybe one of your countertops, or maybe even your desk in your bedroom if you have one. So I'm going to assign these two items for you. So instead of our teacher's desk, you are either going to do your kitchen table, a desk, or a countertop, okay, really, or anything else that you want to measure that's going to be the equivalent of a teacher's desk. And you just cross out here and put what you estimated and then what you actually measured. And then, since we're not in the classroom wall, you can measure your bedroom wall, your bathroom wall. You may need a little help from a sibling or an adult here to help you measure the wall, since it is a little bit taller than you. So once again, you're going to cross out classroom wall, And you are going to write whatever you choose to measure here. Give me an estimate in meters. So it's got to be something that's at least 100 centimeters or more than 30 centimeters, and what the actual measurement was. Now I know you only have the little rulers. If you have a tape measure at home, that would be even easier to use. Alright, so for additional practice, your problem solving book, page 199 to 200. You have a good afternoon, and Miss Horn will be working on your next 2 lessons.